Hello everyone! Today I have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion video for you on the field spell Ghostrick Parade. And normally when I do Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion videos, it's on a card that either I've never used before or a card that I barely ever use. So I generally just come up with things and then talk about that because I don't really have a lot of personal experience with it. I've also done things on Yu Senju 3 where I have a lot of experience with it, and then I can say a lot about that. This card is a bit of an in-between, because Ghostrick Parade, I've never played Ghostricks. I think I tried them once, like 2 years ago, or a year ago, and I think 2 years ago. Didn't really like their playstyle. But today I built a deck, thanks to a decklist of someone else, that has Ghostrick Parade in it, and without it the deck really can't really function too well, so I'm going to go talk about that and my experiences with it. I'm going to reveal at the end what the deck is, because you'll be seeing that in the duel video soon. Okay, so Ghostrick Parade, a field spell card. What does it do? Monsters cannot attack face-down defensive position monsters, but can attack directly if all monsters their opponent controls are in face-down defense position. So anything you have face-down that you want to stay face-down, you're like, okay, they're not going to be destroyed, but you are going to make yourself vulnerable. So the opponent, if they have to work against this without any field, they have to either normal summon and then make vulnerable via battle damage, or set, be able to keep the monster for next turn, but probably take more battle damage via direct attack. In addition, your opponent takes no damage at all as long as this thing is active. The opponent of the Ghostrick Parade player does not take damage, not just battle damage, not just effect damage, any kind of damage. Something that makes them lose life points, such as the cost for 7 Tools of the Bandit, that still lowers their life points because that's not damage. But battle damage via direct attack, or effect damage via, let's say, Solar Flare Dragon, or the Red Isaac Seas that rank 7-1, they don't apply. They don't do anything. Final effect: when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can add one Ghostrick card from your deck to your hand. Now, the first effect is similar to one of the other two, or is the same as one of the other two field spell cards the Ghostricks have. What did I just do? That's Ghostrick Mansion. Monsters cannot attack face-down defense position monsters, but can attack directly if all monsters their opponent controls are face-down defense. The other effect is different. I'm not going to take too much. Take too much of a look at that. Okay, so how does it work with Ghostricks? I'm not going to talk too much about the archetype itself. However, they like stalling. Ghostricks are really good at stalling. And they like your and the opponent's monsters to be in face-down defensive position. What I'm mostly going to focus on is your own monsters. Like you being the Ghostrick player, you having Ghostrick Parade, your monster being in face-down defensive position. Because the Ghostricks like that. Some of them have flip effect or effects that activate when flip face up. Guess those aren't the same. But what do you do when that happens? Let's say you have two monsters set, two of your Ghostricks set on the field. Ghostrick Parade is active. Your opponent cannot attack your face-down defense position monsters, but they can attack directly. Let's say they have a Blue Eyes White Dragon and a Dark Magician on their field because, I don't know, they felt like it. And you have two Ghostrick sets, then they're going to be like, Dark Magician, direct attack, and you're going to take 2,500 points of damage. However, what you can do is as soon as they declare the attack, even though you have monsters on the field, it becomes a direct attack. Therefore, the last effect of Ghostrick Parade triggers, or is able to trigger, because it is optional. And you can add a Ghostrick card from your deck to your hand. Now, it says Ghostrick card, not Ghostrick monster, so you can add a spell or trap, like another field spell that you might like. Let's say you really want Mansion, or there's a Ghostricks Merry-Go-Round, something like that. It's a trap card you can add. However, what I usually do with the deck I use this in is add monsters, and one of those is Ghostrick Merry. Now, what Ghostrick Merry does, just like most Ghostricks, that they cannot be normal summoned unless you control a Ghostrick monster, and once per turn you can change this card to face-down defensive position. Pretty much all Ghostricks have that. However, it is after that what makes it different from other Ghostricks. When you take damage, this can be regular attack, direct attack, effect damage, because it doesn't specify. When you take damage, you can discard this card, special summon a Ghostrick monster from the deck and face on defense position. So if you, let's just get rid of Mansion. Parade. You have two sets. Opponent attacks directly with the Dark Magician. Parade triggers upon the attack declaration. You add Ghostrick Mary. You take the 2500 damage by the direct attack, but then you've taken damage and Ghostrick Mary's, you can play it, discard it, and special summon any Ghostrick monster you want in face on defense. Why didn't you just add it to your hand? Well, because then you would still take the damage and you wouldn't be able to get it to the field. So adding Mary then allows you to set something else. Ghostrick Jack Frost is a card you want to add to your hand. Same with Ghostrick Lantern, because they can help either negate or stop attacks. They are both single attacks, though, I believe. This is negate the attack, then special summon it. This one is flip the opponent's attacking monster into face on defense. So yeah, those both block single attacks. So those would be added to the hand by Parade to stop attacks later on. However, if you attack Mary, the one I would summon most of the time via Mary is Ghostrick Jiangshi. When this card is flipped face up, so this can be flipped summon or via an attack, you can add from your deck to your hand one Ghostrick monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of Ghostrick monsters you control. In the deck I use, the 4 Ghostricks I have are Mary, Jack Frost, Lantern, and Jiangshi. If I have 2 sets on the field, let's say a Jack Frost and a Lantern, and via Mary I summon a third, which is Jiangshi, and only let's say I flip summon Jiangshi, then there's just one Ghostrick monster face up in the field. The opponent is not allowed to confirm the others. But I can still add a level 1 due to Jiangshi's effect, so I can still get a Lantern, a Jack Frost, or a Mary. So having them all face up doesn't really matter in Jiangshi's case. So I'm able to get more from taking damage, or stall more with Lantern or with Jack Frost. What you can do, back to Parade, is let's say you don't have any sets, or one set, it doesn't really matter, but you don't have any monsters really in your hand to play. With Ghostrick Parade, you take your first direct hit from, let's say, the Dark Magician, and you add a Jack Frost. Let's say they only have one monster, just the Dark Magician. You take the damage, you get the Jack Frost. Next turn, let's say they don't summon anything new, they attack directly, Parade triggers, but you can chain Jack Frost immediately to that because it's the same chain in response to attack declaration. And because they're not fast effects, they are trigger effects, and they trigger at the exact same time, so you can put them together on the chain even if optional. Ghostrick Jack Frost can then chain to Parade, or the other way around, I believe even. Let's see. Opponent's monster declares an attack, you can. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can. Yeah. They can be in either order, but either way, let's say you use Jack Frost, the opponent's monster to flip to face down, you set Jack Frost, and Parade adds a new card, let's say a Lantern. Next turn, they still have one Dark Magician, they attack with it, Lantern and Parade trigger, Lantern stops the attack, you summon Lantern and face on defense, Parade adds a new card, let's say attacking Jack Frost. If they keep having one monster on the field, and I give this example because I had that in a duel earlier today, you can keep getting the Jack Frost and the Lantern and just stall, and just finally have a board on the field with 5 sets. And then, what my opponent eventually actually did was they destroyed Ghostrick Parade. I don't remember how, but they did. And then they suddenly had 2-3 monsters to attack with. But then I had 4 monsters on the field, like 2 Jack Frosts, a Lantern, and a Jiangshi, that could defend my life points until I got the next Parade. Because Parade in that deck is really important, because it gets your Ghostricks to your hand that you can then negate attacks with these 2, or Mary by taking that damage going into generally Jiangshi for me. Something to note though, Ghostrick Parade triggers in response to attack declaration. If you use Ghostrick's Parade effect, then it resolves. You add Mary, then the attack after that resumes. Once you've added Mary, you take the damage, then Mary can trigger and discard it to summon something. Thing with Jack Frost and Lantern, they both activate in response to the attack declaration. So you can't actually chain them to Parade if they're added by that same Parade. So let's say, once again, the opponent has the Dark Magician on the field, attacks directly. Parade triggers. You don't have anything in your hand. You add a Ghostrick Lantern. At this point, Parade has resolved. when you have Lantern in your hand. You can build one chain in response to attack declaration. And that chain is Parade's effect. Let's say it's just Parade's effect, no change to it. Once Parade has resolved and you have Lantern in your hand, that chain is over. You cannot make a new chain in response to attack declaration. And because Lantern's trigger is attack declaration, and but that chain is already over, you can't use Lantern that turn. So if you use Parade to add Lantern, that same Lantern can't be used until the next turn. Or the next attack, I suppose, if there are multiple attacks. But they can't be used on the same attack if you add them via the Parade. Now, what deck do I use this in? As a little preview for one of the duels you'll be seeing in one of the next few days. Not entirely sure if it'll be tomorrow or not, because I also have a deck request that I'm working on. But yeah, the idea is for the deck, Ghostrick Parade as a main card, so I have 3 of that in the deck and then 3 Terraforming, because it's just so important to be able to stall, just to keep getting your stuff every turn. Well, every attack even, to get stuff ready. Get monsters to work with. You want Parade out. And then Mary, Jack Frost, Lantern, Jiangshi are the 4 Ghostricks that I use, 3 copies of all. To negate attacks, and this one to summon something to defend me. Generally I summon Jiangshi to then help me add something new. Through Parade, Mary, Jack Frost, Lantern, and Jiangshi, I empty the deck quite a bit. But for the rest of it, I just stall. Because in the example I just gave, I have like 4 sets on the field until they destroy Parade with something. Which definitely can happen with a bunch of Twin Twisters and stuff that are rolling around in the current meta. So yeah, bunch of sets, a lot of monsters and cards searched from the deck, generally the monsters, Mary, Jack Frost, Lantern, and Jiangshi. Then what? Well, while you stall, and you also have maybe things like One Day of Peace to draw and stall, Upstart Goblin to draw, and a few other cards to help you out, Allure of Darkness possibly even. You just stall so long with Parade and this and everything that eventually you draw all 5 pieces of this. Yeah. The deck I was referring to is the 3rd of the 4 special Exodia decks that Quincy McCoy made an article about. We've seen Speedroid Exodia, we've seen Monarch Exodia, even though in the Monarch duel you never actually saw any of the Exodia pieces or the specific Exodia support in the deck. But you'll see that later. So Speedroid Exodia, Monarch Exodia. The 3rd one is Ghostrick Exodia. As I said, I've never really used Ghostricks much myself, so outside of Mary, Jack Frost, Lantern, Jiangshi, and Parade, and I believe 1 of Mansion, although I never drew that. I don't have any experience with Ghostricks, except I know they like to stall, they are really good at it, and they like your stuff being in defense position. That's kind of all I know about Ghostricks, but this combo of these 5 cards, 4 monsters, and the field spell work really well together for stalling, and the idea is just eventually draw into Exodia, which could take long, but as I said, with the emptying of the deck, searching off of this, special summoning off of this, these 2 just stall, but like they stall while this thing searches. This thing gets something out of the deck, these 2 stall, this thing gets a card out of the deck, with which every turn, like every attack even with Parade, you can get a card out of your deck. Allure, One Day Apiece, Upstart, you can stall with and draw, and eventually you will draw into Exodia. Have a higher chance of getting your stuff. So, yeah, that's the idea for the deck you'll be seeing soon, Ghostrick Exodia. But the main thing was Ghostrick Parade and the discussion on that. If there's anything I missed, especially Ghostrick players, respond to this video, please. Or non-Ghostrick players, you can comment as well. Are there any combos, tricks, tips, or strategies you can come up with for Ghostrick Parade that I haven't mentioned yet? Then let me know about that in the comments. We'll take a look at the tips of Ghostrick Parade, see if there's anything there. Prevents the opponent from taking any damage. Better to use mill decks that don't rely on damage alongside Ghostrick Skeleton. Let's see what that does. When this gets flipped face up, banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck with a Ghostrick once you control. It can work, yeah. Like that's more of a Ghostrick deck. Like I just have my Exodia things. I've never really looked at this. You can use it with Mansion or Museum to your hand if you want to attack your opponent on your turn. Oh yeah, because Parade makes the opponent not take damage, while Mansion and Museum do allow you to do that. So you know that Lantern and Jack Frost will not be able to chain to the deck. You use to search them. Correct. If you already have them in your hand, you can. If you search them, you can still use it in the battle steps. Go around. Yeah. You can still do that because there is also an ability to do that before you go into damage step. Trivia on Parade. Every Ghostrick monster revealed to date, except their Ghoul and Gaiety, appear in the artwork. Probably a reference to the New York Halloween Parade. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that was the discussion video on Ghostrick Parade. If there's any tips, tricks, strategies, combos you can come up with that use Ghostrick Parade in some way or form, please let me know in the comments, because I'd like to learn a bit more about Ghostricks. I do have a deck request for Ghostricks as well, which I put on hiatus because I just wasn't really able to find a build that I was happy with. But especially now that I'm liking Ghostricks more because I like the idea of Exodia being in the deck, let me know some strategies with Ghostrick Parade or just Ghostricks in general in the comments, which will hopefully help me build a cool, good Ghostrick deck for me to use in general, but also for that deck request. I thank you for your help in advance, and I will see you in tomorrow's Daily Yu-Gi video. Goodbye.